All right. All right. Thanks for hanging in there. Let's get things rolling here, huh? Perfissimo. All right, we got a big day ahead of us. Big day, huge day, some might say. Let's get all of this rocking and rolling, huh? Do one of these guys and bring me back on up there. Beautiful. Guys, yesterday we had the pleasure of reacting to some of the best clips from RFK Jr. and his confirmation hearing. Today, I'm sure we're gonna have a couple more of those clips of that just amazing content that this administration is able to provide us with. We got a bit of a different look today. I got the dark blue sweatshirt. I've been doing a little bit of the lighter stuff, but today we're bringing it dark mode because we have some dark content on X. I'm kidding. I don't know what's on here. It's X, so it's gonna be a bit of bit of this, bit of that. But we'll take it for what it is. We'll take it for what it is. I've been trying my best to get on these streams at 5 p.m. sharp because I'm trying to stick to this schedule I promised you guys. But you know, today we did better. I think yesterday I had the stream starting soon screen on for about 15 minutes. This time we had it down to 5. So I'm running a little bit behind, but we're doing good. We're doing good. Got my coffee, got everything ready to go here. So let me take a sip. We'll get this going. That's hotter than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Back to the beautiful world of X. I've already seen some things right on here that I'm going to just die to react to. I also had somebody in my YouTube comments say he wants me to react to the new White House press secretary and some of the first White House press briefing, which I saw some of, but I didn't get any of the good clips, and so I'm looking forward to that. We'll get some of that in for you, but we're gonna do a little bit of everything today. I also lied yesterday and said that we were gonna be doing some gaming content today. Turns out that didn't happen. I need some games though. Drop a comment, put something in chat. Let me know if there's a game you want me to play, because I want to get back to gaming as well. But for now, let's see what we got. The first thing I have here on my other monitor looks incredibly enticing. Okay, RFK Jr. calls out Bernie Sanders live during the confirmation hearing. What does he have to say? Bernie, you have accepted millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry. Oh, yeah, Bernie's one to call out the rich people. So let's see what our honorable Mr. RFK has to say to Bernie, and let's see how Bernie handles the heat. Let's go.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is...
I love that, by the way. That was a subtle little thing, but he calls him Bobby and he goes Bernie. It's like that little first name exchange. It was kind of playful, but kind of like, yeah, screw you too, old man. I like it.
It's not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no.
Protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that
guys in the back are laughing too.
No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry.
They came from
workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money
contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the single,
not a nickel from corporate PACs.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in
1.5 million.
Yeah. So I feel like the point he's trying to make here is no, it wasn't from the executives, it was from the workers. Doesn't that like make it worse in a way? I mean, I get it, like special interests and all that, yeah, but isn't the whole like Bernie mentality, we need to put more dollars in the working class pocket, take it out of the rich guy, eat the rich, that whole thing. And he's like, no, I wasn't taking money from the guys who had a shit ton of money and it meant nothing to them. It was all money from the workers. I get what he's trying to say, but I feel like you could backfire that on him a little bit.
Out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered. Last question.
All right, I feel like that was a good one to start off with. That was golden. That was incredible. This is what I needed, guys. I was looking forward to the stream all day long because it's content like this that makes me wake up in the morning. Ooh, was Tulsi's hearing today? Oh, if Tulsi's hearing was today, then boys, we got some content. Holy shit. Okay, 5-minute clip. I'm looking forward to this. And it is from the saint himself. I say that with an immaculate grain of salt. Please know I'm sarcastic. Alex Jones. Tulsi Gabbard just exposed Obama's funding and creation of Al-Qaeda and other Islamic extremist groups in order to institute regime change operations in the Middle East. Let's see.
Colonel Gabbard, when Russia was denying us use of chemical weapons, they accused the U.S. of supporting terrorists. This is a line that Putin used frequently during the Syrian civil war as he supported Assad. Syrian officials made similar comments. They did it repeatedly. They did it in public. They did it at the United Nations. In 2016, you gave an interview in which you said, and this is a quote, "The U.S. is providing direct and indirect support to terrorist groups in order to overthrow the Syrian government." And in 2019, on the Democratic presidential debate stage, you said of President Trump, this is a quote, "This current president is continuing to betray us. We were supposed to be going after Al-Qaeda, but over years now, not only have we not gone after Al-Qaeda, our president is supporting Al-Qaeda."
Is she speaking when she says our president? Is she talking about Biden here? I missed the context in the beginning of this. I need to hear a little bit more here.
So I'm interested to hear, what was your goal in saying these things? And did you consider, before saying them, the motives of Iran and Russia, what their motives might have been before making these claims?
Senator, as someone who in
the white power suit, dude. Wait, shit, that did not sound good. Pretend I didn't say that. You know what I meant. It is a power suit that happens to be white. Jesus, I'm already gonna get canceled. Holy shit. Okay, let's just let her continue and I'm gonna shut up.
Enlisted in the military specifically because of Al-Qaeda's terrorist attack on 9/11 and committing myself and my life to doing what I could to defeat these terrorists. It was shocking and a betrayal to me and every person who was killed on 9/11, their families and my brothers and sisters in uniform. When as a member of Congress, I learned about President Obama's dual programs that he had begun really to overthrow the regime of Syria, and being willing to, through the CIA's Timber Sycamore program that has now been made public, of working with and arming and equipping Al-Qaeda in an effort to overthrow that regime, starting yet another regime change war.
Pause. Let's get some info here for all of those that are like me and don't know what the hell Timber Sycamore program is. Timber Sycamore was a classified weapons supply and training program run by the United States Central Intelligence Agency and supported by the United Kingdom and some Arab intelligence services, including Saudi intelligence. The aim of the program was to remove Syrian President Bashar al-Assad from power. Launched in 2012 or 2013, it supplied money, weaponry, and training to Syrian opposition groups fighting Syrian government forces in the Syrian civil war. According to U.S. officials, the program was run by the CIA Special Activities Division and has trained thousands of rebels. President Barack Obama secretly authorized the CIA to begin arming Syria's embattled rebels in 2013. Holy shit. The program became public knowledge in mid-2016. Well, it may have been public knowledge, but it wasn't Sean knowledge. Damn. Okay. We have some context now. Let's let Tulsi continue.
Or in the Middle East. DoD Train and Equip program, again, begun under President Obama, is widely been known, looked at, and studied, that ultimately resulted in over $500 million being used to train who they called moderate rebels, but were actually fighters working with and aligned with Al-Qaeda's affiliates.
Do we know if that's true? Because here's the thing. In the Wikipedia article, it said that the what was it called? That timber sycamore was designed to arm the Syrian opposition, the fighting groups, the rebels, to try to overthrow or remove Bashar al-Assad from power. So what Tulsi's saying here is that these rebels, this resistance group, was actually aligned with Al-Qaeda. I might have to look a little bit more into this Wikipedia article to see if there's any evidence on that. Again, I know nothing about this, so let's just let her continue.
Affiliate on the ground in Syria, all to move forward with their regime change and not acknowledging what was obvious at the time and what has unfortunately borne true, which was that a regime change war in Syria, much like the regime change wars in Iraq, the toppling of Gaddafi and Mubarak, while these are all dictators, would likely result in the rise of Islamist extremists like Al-Qaeda taking power. I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime, but today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria, as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance, and who has already begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
I understand.
Why that should be acceptable to anyone is beyond me.
It shouldn't
is
be.
certainly
And I
not in our
understand,
interest.
Damn. Okay. So she's really, firstly, incredibly knowledgeable, and two, she's passionate about this shit. Clearly, I did some Google searching while she was talking here. Let's take a review here. So she's nominated for the Director of National Intelligence. I don't really know what that position does, and so according to Google, the Director of National Intelligence is the head of the U.S. intelligence community. The DNI oversees the National Intelligence Program and advises the President, National Security Council, and Homeland Security. And then I also did another search, like, because I always think, like, national intelligence, I think CIA, I think FBI, right? And so the Director of National Intelligence, which she's up for, is considered above the CIA Director, meaning the CIA Director reports directly to the DNI and falls under their oversight. Let's see if that same thing applies to FBI. Yes, the Director of National Intelligence is above the Federal Bureau of Investigation, in that the DNI oversees the FBI's intelligence activity. So basically, as Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard would essentially be the overseer of both the FBI and the CIA. I'm assuming NSA as well. Yeah, holy shit. So basically, she would oversee everything. So you want somebody who is smart as hell and passionate to run these things. This stuff kind of scares me, I'm not gonna lie. Let's just let her continue.
I appreciate your answer, and thank you. My concern has to do with the tendency to repeat Russian and Syrian, and even in some cases, I think we'll get into in the closed session, Iranian information, and to discount what comes from our intelligence community.
Senator, every American deserves to know that people in our own government were providing support to our sworn enemy, Al-Qaeda. That should not be acceptable by anyone.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, dude. Bro, I don't really know all that much about Tulsi Gabbard. Everything that I've seen by her, I like. But another thing that comes to mind, just to bring up gaming again, is Control. Dude, that game was awesome. Maybe I'll play that. That would be sweet. She's giving me this girl's vibes. Who, can we zoom up on that a little bit? Yeah. She's like, the director is her name. And basically it's like government, deep state, security, that kind of shit. So my kind of like stupid guy interpretation of, like reading a book by its cover when it comes to like these nomination hearings is, does the person that's up for the position look like what I would assume a Hollywood casting director would put an actor in that role as? Like, what was the example I used the other day? It was Pete Hegseth when he was up for like the DOD secretary. I was like, he just looks like somebody that in a video game would be the head of like the military, right? And so it's like, I don't know, she fits the judge a book by its cover test, and clearly she's got the knowledge to back it up. So she's an interesting cookie. I want to see more from this. Is this Tulsi? No, this is this Kash Patel? Is that right? Who's up for FBI, right? Yes. So I guess that hearing was also today. So if Tulsi gets the job, then she would be this guy's boss, kind of, indirectly. But let's see, this is a 1-minute clip. Let's react.
If you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
Damn, ain't that the truest shit I've ever heard? Have you ever had a boss that never ticked you off? If you did, he probably wasn't a very good boss. Or maybe you thought he was a good boss, but you know, you never do shit when your boss is like chill with the homies. You know, you're always just like fucking around and not doing your job. So let's interject here. Let's go.
My colleague and friend Senator Durbin called you a conspiracy theorist. You remember that?
I do, Senator.
You were instrumental in revealing that the Trump-Russia...
Let's see what we got here. What do you say? If Trump never got into politics, I could see him acting as president in a movie. It's 100%. 100%, right? It's like, does the person fit the position? Like, one example that always comes to mind, I think I brought this up in the last stream you were in, Brax, but is... Kevin Spacey, Advanced Warfare. Like, the dude just fits the bill, right? Like, you could see these people cast in these positions. It's so funny to me. Okay, let's finish the clip.
Election collusion hoax was a hoax, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was the lead investigator.
Sounds to me like we need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Damn! Based as fuck, dude. Here's the thing about conspiracy theories, right? Is they're only conspiracies until they're proven true. And half the time, that's the case, bro. We've seen so much shit that has come true. This guy is based as fuck. Put this guy up for head of memes or something in the government. Come on.
Facts matter, Senator.
Old Harry Potter is savage? What's the correlation with that? I mean, I agree, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, conspiracy theorists are up something like 37-0.
There you go. There you go. Perfect meme template. Perfect meme template. Just the tie glasses. Give me Harry Potter. Oh shit, you're totally right. It's like the Gryffindor thing. Dude, I love it. Yeah, this man is fighting. He's a Gryffindor. What is this? Oh, I'm not gonna play this. This is bait. Here's how you can tell when it's bait, right? Is when you see Trump still got the blonde hair. This is a clip from 2016. He's all gray now. I actually think he kind of looks better now, though. He's a little bit thinner, you know? He looks a little bit more like he's been through shit. This is going to be some kind of meme. I don't even know if it's Twitch safe. I got to be careful on X. Come on. 2 minutes. Okay, let's see. Kash Patel. I know absolutely nothing about this guy.
The rest of the interview, this is why snippets of information are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent process.
If you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could read the whole transcript.
You've got 2 minutes.
Wow.
The rest of the interview, this is why snippets of information are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent process.
If you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could read the whole transcript.
You've got 2 minutes.
Wow.
It's the same clip. It replayed. Okay. Dude. What did we say he was up for again? FBI director? Yeah. Bro. Stone-faced dude. We need more guys like him? Agreed. Do you want the guy who's like, oh yeah, no, I'd be happy to sit with you and talk for 5 hours as head as the FBI? It's like, no, you got your time. Let's get this over with. Put him in GTA 6? Agreed. Agreed. This dude looks like he would be like a sort of a Lester type character in GTA 6, just giving you fucking orders over the phone. Dude, I'm for it. Yes. I don't know if you guys saw this. RFK. This is photoshopped, I think, right? Maybe this clip isn't photoshopped. I didn't see this. I saw the clip of him like popping in his Zyn. so funny, especially as head as head of Health and Human Services, popping Zyns. I can't say shit. Oh man. Okay. What do we got? It's always disclosed with Bernie Sanders. We already saw this clip. Bernie got all red in the face, as you can see, and you got a little upset at RFK calling him a sellout. Not the right word. Huge recipient of pharmaceutical dollars. Excuse me. Can I even watch this? Let's zoom in a little bit here. Kash Patel dropping a hard R wasn't on my bingo card. Am I allowed to watch this?
Fortunately, Senator, yes. I don't want to get into those details with my family here.
Oh, let's get into a few of them. Tell me about it.
Well, if you look at the record from January 6th, where I testified before that committee, because of my personal information being released by Congress, I was subjected to a direct and significant threat on my life. And I put that information in the record. I had to move. In that threat, I was called.
I think we know what he was called. I'm going to skip ahead because I don't know what Twitch's rules are. I'm too new at Twitch to get banned.
A detestable sand nigger.
Okay, well, I clipped to the wrong part, so we know what he was called now. Please don't ban me. Jeez. That's horrible, by the way. My God. Okay. I think you're fine. Well, hopefully I'm fine. New and improved, click to see the whole thing. Do I want to see the whole thing? I'm so scared. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. Yeah. Yeah. This is the new meme format. It's just dudes having chicks yell at them. I feel like that's become the state of our politics. It'd be different if I said it. Yeah. I think I'm in the clear there. All right. In the last 3 months, the word has been tweeted 2.6 million times. Come on, man. Come on. Jeez, X is a brutal place. It's truly become the Wild West of the internet, you know? And I mean, wasn't that kind of the idea? People hate it though. Some people love it. I'm in the middle. All right. Okay, yeah, let's watch her opening statement. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but I want to see some of it. This is a bit of a longer clip.
To my husband, Abraham, my family, friends, fellow veterans, Medal of Honor recipients, and patriots, thank you for your love and support. I'm honored and grateful to President Trump for his trust and confidence in nominating me to serve our country as the Director of National Intelligence at a time when trust in the intelligence community, unfortunately, is at an all-time low. Chuck Schumer admitted a few years ago, quote, "You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you." For too long, faulty, inadequate, or weaponized intelligence have led to costly failures and the undermining of our national security and God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. The most obvious example of one of these failures is our...
I love the lay on this guy. I mean, it just fits the it fits the description, right? I mean, because she's from Hawaii, so it's just funny to see that in a Senate hearing.
Invasion of Iraq.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because the beginning of these opening statements is always very not all that interesting because you got to sound normal before they start to land you. Let's skip to about the she's reading off something here. This is interesting about the 4-minute mark.
As a battalion commander of soldiers in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. I served in Congress for 8 years on the Homeland Security, Foreign Affairs, and Armed Services committees. And it's my experience in the military and in the halls of Congress that have given me a deep understanding of the complex challenges that our nation faces. In both roles, engaging with world leaders, in both roles, being privy to highly classified intelligence.
Let's get some conspiracy in here, Tulsi. Come on, we need some controversy. Say that you're going to release alien files or something.
The safety, security, and freedom of the American people. Now, before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home.
Here we go. Warn us. What's out there? Martians? What is it? Come on, hit us with it. Is Osama bin Laden still alive in some CIA bunker somewhere? Give us the details, Tulsi. Tell us what you're going to unleash on us.
You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet.
Which is batshit crazy to say that she's Trump's puppet because she was a Democrat, up until, 5 minutes ago? So I find that hard to believe. If anybody thinks that she's Trump's puppet, you got to take your meds.
Guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump.
Yeah, this is a good point too, because everybody used to say back in 2016 that Trump was like Putin's puppet. And for the record, I got a lot of people in my family who are conservative, yet they think that, and they don't like Trump because of that. Trump has been harder on Russia like the last week than Biden has been during this during this whole his whole administration. He basically said that he would have he would hold no reservation when it comes to tariffing them if they don't come to a quick end to this war, like even more sanctions and stuff like that. So hopefully that ends soon. Hopefully that
Trump
ends
with
soon.
a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet.
Facts.
I have no love for Assad or Gaddafi or any dictator. I just hate Al-Qaeda. I hate that.
Elector. I feel like anybody who just says I hate Al-Qaeda gets an American flag stamp, a Ram truck, and Avicii on the radio. They become a American.
We have leaders who cozy up to Islamist extremists, minimizing them to so-called rebels. As Jake Sullivan said to Hillary Clinton, quote, Al-Qaeda is on our side in Syria. Well, Syria is now controlled by an Al-Qaeda offshoot, HTS, led by an Islamist jihadist who danced in the streets on 9/11 and who was responsible for the killing of many American service members. Democrat senators in the past.
I just wanted to look up what the hell that was. HTS is a coalition of northern Syria-based Sunni Islamist insurgent groups that evolved from, however this is pronounced, Nusra Front, former branch in Syria. Okay, we have a little bit of context. Half the time when they're talking about like big brain shit, I just gotta have Google open in another window.
Resorted to anti-Christian bigotry against some of President Trump's judicial nominees like Amy Coney Barrett and Brian Boucher. I condemn those actions as a Democrat in Congress at the time, as religious bigotry must be thoroughly condemned by all of us, no matter the religion. Unfortunately, there are some Democrat senators who still don't understand the principle of freedom of religion and Article 6 of the Constitution. Quote, no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Unfortunately, they're once again using the religious bigotry card, but this time trying to foment religious bigotry against Hindus and Hinduism.
Is this true? I know nothing about this.
If anyone is sincerely interested in knowing more about my own personal spiritual path.
Oh yeah, isn't Tulsi Hindu? Or was she? Am I crazy? No, I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of Vivek Ramaswamy. He's Hindu. But did she? Oh, but maybe Tulsi also is. I'm looking at again, I don't know how reputable News+X is, but defends her Hindu faith during confirmation. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know how reputable News+X is, but it's definitely possible. Maybe if you know, you can let me know.
Of Hinduism, I welcome you to go to my account on X, where I'll share more on this topic.
That's probably what she's saying there.
If confirmed as Director of National Intelligence, I will continue to live by the oath that I have sworn at least 8 times in my life, both in uniform and as a member of Congress. I will support and defend our God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Sure.
And I will bear true.
Okay. Yeah, we get the drill. Interesting. I love the fit on Tulsi tonight, by the way. It's a great look. It's like she stands out, you know? And that's probably what she's going for. Oh, this has got to be good. Rand Paul. I watched a bunch of clips from RFK's hearing yesterday, but I didn't see anything by Rand Paul. And I want to see someone go off.
I think the discussion over vaccines is so oversimplified and dumbed down that we never really get to real truths. And it's why people up here are so separated from real people at home. So we talk about hepatitis B. It's a terrible disease. It could lead to liver failure, as the chairman said. But the reason you have distrust from people at home, why they don't believe anything you say, they don't believe government at all, is you're telling my kid to take a hepatitis B vaccine when he's 1 day old. You get it through drug use and sexually transmitted. That's how you get hepatitis B. But you're telling me my kid has to take it at 1 day old. That's not science. And so
I get what he's saying, but also it's like if you're giving your kid all these vaccines anyway, isn't it just best to get them out of the way? Again, I don't know what the side effects are, if there are any well-known ones for the hepatitis vaccine, and if it would have an adverse effect on a young kid. But yeah, I guess I can see both sides of this.
Every person with a bit of common sense, even people who don't resist vaccines. I vaccinated all my kids. I believe vaccines are one of the modern miracles beyond all pale. The Speckled Monster is a great book about the introduction of the smallpox vaccine in 1720 into our country. All miracles.
Damn, was it really?
But I'm not a
long ago?
one-size-fits-all. It's not all or nothing. I chose to wait on my hepatitis B vaccine, and we did it when they went to school. Does that make me an awful person? Does that make me an anti-vaxxer because I questioned?
It doesn't, but in the eyes of the public, it does. Because it's like if you question any kind of vaccine science, like you're automatically an outcast of society. You're put up there with like Holocaust deniers and election deniers. Those are like the three things, right? It's like Holocaust deniers, election deniers, and vaccine deniers. It's like those are the three things you don't touch, you stay away from. And they just kind of lump them all together as one sum. Obviously, there are big differences between those three things, but yeah, I get what he's saying.
The government dictate of whether I do it, and I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm only speaking for myself. But for goodness sakes, let's have an honest debate about these things. The COVID vaccine. If you ask me my opinion, the reporters run up and down the hall and they say, "You still anti-vaccine?" No, I'm pro-vaccine. But on the COVID vaccine and on the COVID illness, there was a 1,000-fold or more difference between the elderly and children. If you don't acknowledge that, you're committing malpractice. You're showing your ignorance. If you say a 6-month-old must be mandated to get it, the science is not there. So all this blather about the science says this and the science says that, no, it doesn't. The science actually shows that no healthy child in America died from COVID. Look it up. No healthy child.
Let's see if he's accurate. Did any healthy child in America die from COVID? Child mortality and COVID-19. Among 4.4 million COVID deaths reported in the MPIDR coverage database, 0.4%, over 17,000, occurred in children and adolescents under 20 years of age. That's 20 years is a big span. Of the over 17,400 deaths reported in those under 20 years of age, 53% occurred among adolescents aged 10 to 19. Okay. And 47% among children 0 to 9. So 47% of 17,000. What is that? 17,400. 8,000. So it's not no healthy child. It's 8,000, which in the scheme of how many people died is essentially nothing, but that's still 8,000 people. Like that's not nothing. So I'm gonna have to hit him with the fact check thumbs down on this one, Mr. Rand Paul.
Died from COVID, and so the thing is that it's 1,000-fold greater. So if you ask me my advice as a physician, if you were 65 or older or overweight and some other conditions, I would have said, hell yes, I'd take the COVID vaccine. The risks of the disease were real and much greater than the vaccine. But if you ask me, should my healthy 6-month-old get it? See, these are the nuances you're unwilling to talk about because there's such a belief in submission. Submit to the government. Do what you're told. There is no discussion. There ought to be a debate. I
don't think that's necessarily true. I think that conservatives see it as submission to the government, but I think most people that are not conservatives would say it's not that the government wants us to submit to them. It's just that they put trust in their government. And the conservatives would say, well, you're foolish to trust your government. I would say, I would like to think we can trust our government, but you should always question what they tell you, right? Don't blindly follow, I think is the moral of the story here.
I'm going to let him have the debate because you're just going to criticize and say it is this and admit to it or we're not going to appoint you. But it's more complicated than that. And this is why people distrust government, because you're unwilling to have these conversations. And go home, ask your Democrat young mothers, your Republican young mothers, if they're vaccinating their kid for hepatitis B, and they're like, well, do I have to do it on day one? It's this precious little baby. Is there science to say you shouldn't do it? Probably not, but it's my kid. You know?
Yeah. Okay. I think we got enough from this clip. We're about 2 minutes in. Rand, I feel like you're going to say a lot of the same stuff. I agree with him on some points. I disagree with him on others. He clearly didn't have all of his facts right. This is why we always have another window up, right? Good rule of thumb. X tips 101. Community notes are not always going to be there. Always have another window open and fact check the stuff you see. Otherwise, you'll be listed as a misinformation prophet. What is this? James Charles got owned for making fun of the way RFK talks. Yeah, you're not supposed to make fun of this. And like, if I mean, I get it. He talks funny, but if it was any person on the left, like say it's like Barack. Okay, perfect example. Joe Biden stutter. You know, people used to say that Joe Biden would mumble and he wouldn't make any sense, and they used to say, "Hey, it's a stutter. You shouldn't make fun of his childhood stutter." The stuff when he was older was not because of a stutter. It was because he was like a million years old and wasn't the best mentally. But like, it's this double standard that's held where it's like you can make fun of people if they're conservative, but you can't make fun of them if they're liberal. Let's see what James Charles has to say.
Why does RFK sound like that? How many packs of cigarettes a day do you have?
James, I believe his voice sounds like that because he's got a medical condition, and I don't believe you got a room to be talking about how anybody sounds with them damage.
He makes a point. But yeah, no, that's exactly right. He does have a medical condition. I don't know how one acquires that. I have to look deeper into that. I do think it's funny that that's how James Charles phrased it. Why does RFK sound like that? Because if you open up Google and you search, why does, look, autofill, RFK Jr. sound like that? It's the first thing. Okay. This is way too much text for me to read. Sorry, Elon. Okay. Biden's pick to lead the Federal Aviation Administration couldn't answer a single question about aviation. Oh shit. I think this might be an old clip, right? Probably because of that tragic crash that happened last night, which is insane. I still can't believe that happened, but let's watch this clip.
So, Mr. Washington, can you quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. So that's a pretty important part. So what are the 6 types of special use airspace that protect this national security that appear on FAA charts?
Sorry, Senator, I cannot answer that question.
Okay, so what are the operational limitations of a pilot flying under basic med?
Senator, I'm not a pilot, so...
but obviously you'd oversee the Federal Aviation Administration, so any idea what those restrictions are under basic med, quickly?
Well, some of the restrictions, I think, would be high blood pressure. Some of them would be...
It's more like how many passengers per airplane, how many pounds in different categories, and what
this is my worst nightmare, being put in a position like this where it's like people are just asking you so many questions and you know there's no way out. Like, you can't just get up and leave. Like, you're there for like hours and you know they're just going to keep hammering you with questions you don't know the answers to. It's brutal. It's brutal. Okay, here we go. This is on that tragic crash that happened in D.C. last night. New York Post asked if he will visit the plane crash site. President Donald Trump answered, "What's the site? The water. You want me to go swimming?" Oh, God.
Have you spoken to any of the families of the victims of the plane crash?
I don't want to comment on that.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a
first
plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because you tell me what's the site, the water?
Or to meet with
Want
the
me to go
first
swimming?
responders down there?
I don't have a plan to do that, but I will be meeting with some people that were very badly hurt with their family member, obviously, but I'll be meeting with some of the families, yeah.
So he said he'll be meeting with somebody who is very badly hurt. He's either talking out of his ass and getting away out of that question, or there was somebody who survived. I thought it was knowledge that nobody survived the crash. Let me check comments on this. It wasn't a great answer. He's right. Yeah, a lot of people just Trump hating here. Not much context there. Am I the only one who picked up on that? Is there new information on this? Were there any survivors on the plane crash? Live updates 18 minutes ago. Yeah, no survivors. Maybe there was somebody who got who wasn't on the plane that was injured. Too seriously. Oh, that's old news. Right? Or is this a different plane crash from 3 hours ago? What?
Closer to home, a small plane went down in a fiery crash near Highway 101 in Goleta yesterday afternoon. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office says
what is going on with the planes?
Suffered major injuries and were rushed to a hospital. That fire also caused surrounding vegetation to catch on fire. Jeez. It was quickly put out. Both the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating the cause of that crash.
Damn, Jesus Christ. Well, thank God they were okay. Seriously injured, so maybe not okay, but they didn't die. But damn, what is going on with these planes? Dude, that shit scares the hell out of me. Oh, man. It's not going to stop me from flying, though, unfortunately. Okay. A hilarious moment between Chairman Gracie and Senator John Kennedy after Amy Klobuchar's questioning of Kash Patel went 3 minutes over the allotted time. Okay.
Before we go to leave,
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, what do you want?
I love this guy. Mr. Chairman, I'm unlike Senator Tillis. I mean, if we're going to start this, I want an extra 3 minutes.
Well,
now my friend Senator Klobuchar went 3 minutes over.
So, here what you're saying is the chairman wasn't a very good chairman by not shutting her up. But I've gone through this before, and I think I know how to handle it and get
I think you're a star-spangled awesome chairman. I just want to say that for the record. But if you're going to let somebody over there go 3 minutes over, I want my extra 3 minutes.
Well, let's see if it's abused by anybody else before we make that decision.
I'm just telling you, I'm going to abuse it.
Well, I'm not going to let you abuse it.
You're a good man, Mr. Chairman.
Before we go to leave,
that's golden. It's this dude. It's like I feel like the chairman was actually like he was playing along at the beginning, but then he actually kind of got a little bit upset with him and he didn't know what to say. And he was like, "Yeah, you're doing great, buddy. Keep it up." It was kind of demeaning in a playful way. I'm so here for it. Is this what we just watched? I've had enough of Rand Paul. I can't watch his content anymore. Breaking, President Trump officially announces 25% tariffs on both Mexico and Canada. Sheesh. Let's see what this is about.
Subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Damn, he's really doing the whole tariff thing. I mean, he talked all about it on the campaign trail. Most beautiful word, right? Most beautiful word in the English language. Damn. Let's see how the world burns. Let's see how it works out. I hope it does. You know, it'd be great to win. But again, man, I hope he knows what he's doing. Okay. Oh, we get a little bit of Pete Hegseth in his position as Secretary of Defense. Let's see what's up.
All right, update this morning. Just got off the phone with the Southcom commander and the chairman, the Joint Chiefs, talking about our efforts at Guantanamo Bay. That is ongoing. We're leaning forward on supporting the president's directive to make sure that we have a location for violent criminal illegals as they are deported out of the country. No one's going to wait on the Defense Department, and we're working that in real time. But I also wanted to give an update on the tragedy that happened last night here in Washington, D.C. and provide a little bit more information as we are actively working to investigate and understand what occurred and why. At about 8:48 last night, a UH-60 assigned to the U.S. Army Aviation Brigade in the Military District of Washington, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, collided tragically with a civilian airline. The unit involved, the Army unit involved, was Bravo Company 12th Aviation Battalion at Fort Belvoir. It was an annual proficiency training flight And when we look at the crew, and not all kin have been notified, so we're going to withhold ranks and names at this point. We do know on our side who was involved. It was a fairly experienced crew. And
how does this happen? I mean, if this is an annual training thing, supposedly it's held at the same time. It's right by the airport, or maybe it's not, but the helicopter was. Like, you think that they would be in correspondence with the air traffic controllers. Like, I just don't understand how something like this could happen.
Doing a required annual night evaluation, they did have night vision goggles. The 12th Aviation Battalion, as of now, is granted a 48-hour operational pause on contingency missions as what happened is reviewed, and a senior level aviation team, an investigative team from our Aviation Safety Center was deployed last night and already is in Washington, D.C. to investigate what's going on. We anticipate that the investigation will quickly be able to determine whether the aircraft was in the corridor and at the right altitude at the time of the incident. As I mentioned, next of kin notifications are ongoing. It's a tragedy, a horrible loss of life for those 64 souls on that civilian airliner, and of course, the 3 soldiers in that Black Hawk. They're in our prayers, their families and their communities as people are notified. I can't imagine. And I know I don't know how this happens, because my first thought was, okay, maybe because it's a military operation or it's a military training exercise, maybe they're experimenting with the stealth capabilities of the helicopter and they're doing some kind of stealth training. But if you're flying right by the airport, you'd think that, I mean, it's a training exercise. You don't need, you don't need to turn off all your lights. It's like you think the plane would be able to see them, or the helicopter would be able to see the plane. I just don't understand how this happens. It's so tragic, man. Jeez. Okay. RFK Jr. wants evidence that vaccines do not cause autism. Oh boy, the evidence is there. He refuses to see it. This is a post by Bernie. So let's see what Bernie thinks is clippable for him.
There have been, as I understand it, dozens of studies done all over the world that make it very clear that vaccines do not cause autism. Now, you just said, if I heard correctly, well, if the evidence is there. The evidence is there. That's it. Vaccines do not cause autism. Do you agree with that?
As I said, I'm not going to go into HHS with any preordained.
I asked you a simple question, Bobby. The studies all over the world say it does not. What do you think?
Senator, if you show me those studies, I will absolutely, as I promised to Chairman Cassidy, I will apologize.
That is a very troubling response. Because
How is that a troubling response? Because maybe he hasn't seen whatever Bernie is talking about here, right? I'm not even saying that I agree with RFK. I mean, I'm of the persuasion that they do not cause autism. But if I'm RFK, somebody who has spent my entire life worrying about chronic health and about the environment and about all of these different factors, I've probably looked through a shit ton of these studies and I've seen what is real and what is not, and what is reputable and what is not. And if he says I haven't seen any credible studies that show evidence on the contrary, then how is it a bad response to say, if you show me the studies you're talking about that have definitive proof, I'll look at them? How is that troubling? I just don't get it. Let's continue.
Are there? Your job was to have looked at those studies as an applicant for this job. All right. There have.
Yeah, I don't get what Senator Sanders is talking about here. I mean, like, if RFK is convinced of his view on vaccines, right? Which again, I don't necessarily agree with. How is it troubling to say that if Bernie has the studies that show that there is definitive proof that they don't cause autism, and RFK is like, okay, well, I'd be happy to look at them and make sure that, what you're saying is true here. And he's like, that's very troubling. It's not troubling. He's trying to agree with you here, or at least trying to work with you, but whatever. Okay. Reporter, I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash, Trump, because I have common sense. Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. Enough said. Oh boy. I have a feeling this is going to be a rough one to watch. Let's see.
today blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. You then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense.
Yikes. Yikes. Again, I haven't seen the up-to-date news that he has. I don't know if maybe the air traffic controller was like brand new or something. Maybe they were a DEI hire. I don't know. But the point is, this is not the approach you want to be taking right after like a lot of people just died. I can't say that I've been the most pleased with his reaction to this this crash. He had one good tweet from his official like government account, basically saying that his prayers are with the families and everything, and that was all good. But then on Truth Social, he's been kind of crazy. Geez, okay, we're only halfway through the clip. Oh God.
Okay, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level. When you have 60 planes coming in during a short period of time, and they're all coming in different directions, and you're dealing with very high-level computer work and very complex computers. And one of the other things I will tell you is that the systems that were built, I was going to rebuild the entire system, and then we had an election that didn't turn out the way it should have. But
today,
dude, Trump, bro, you could do a little bit better on this. Why is Charlie Kirk reposting this? I don't think that this is a good take. But oh my God, dude, this is. I'm calling this a Trump L. I'm calling this a Trump L, and I generally agree more than most people on the stuff that Trump says and does, but this one's an L. Okay, we got more Tulsi. What is this? Tulsi unleashes the deep state, the 51 intelligence officials, Hillary Clinton, and the Democratic Party in her opening statement. Oh, this is the whole 10-minute clip. We can't watch that again. AI, dude. AI. Bro, how is this all for free, dude? How is this site free? My God. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, geez, more Trump. Okay, the FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run the Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He's just good. He's just got a good line of bullshit. I'm so confused.
Which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg. A real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run?
Oh, he's being sarcastic. That's okay.
Run this Department of Transportation. He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit. The FAA.
I do think it's funny when he swears. I mean, he's the president at the podium during a press briefing, and he says shit like that. I do think that stuff's funny. I can't lie to you. Okay, this is the clip of the crash. Look how much time the helicopter has as it flies directly into the commercial airliner. It's hard to fathom that this was just simply an accident. I'm not saying that it was like some kind of crazy conspiracy, but something's up, dude. Okay. That we're looking over here. Dude, they're literally going right at each other. What? That's literally 30 seconds of these two aircrafts just going straight towards each other. That plane has lights so bright you can see it on this camera from forever away. Clearly the helicopter has lights on. How does this happen, dude? I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on, bro, because people died. But like this, it's hard to believe that this is just like, oh shit, something bad happened. Like, what the fuck is going on? Scares the shit out of me, man. 63 people on that plane. Something like that, right? God. Those that oppose my nomination are accusing me of being Trump's puppet. We watched that clip. What is this? More Kash Patel. Adam Schiff is getting obliterated by Kash Patel today. Take a look at them right now. Turn around. I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
you
my entire
glorified
life,
it in song,
and I did
Mr.
not
Patel.
make a single dime out of
In
it.
song. Well, let me.
How about you ask
this sort of demeanor? The dude's not even like, not even phased. His eyes are like kind of half closed. This dude's yelling at him. He's just kind of hunched over, just putting up with the bullshit. I feel like that's the kind of guy you want as a director. You can just put up with bullshit and like stand there like a stone wall.
them if I have their backs, and let's see about that
answer. Let me ask
answer.
you this, Mr. Patel. Let me ask you this. If an FBI director promoted a song of people who sprayed pepper spray in the face of an FBI agent, would you say they were fit to be director?
Mr. Schiff?
Yes or no? Would they be fit to be director?
I am fit to be the director of the FBI.
If you were the FBI director and you promoted a song with someone who beat an FBI agent with a pole, would you say you were fit to be FBI director?
Mr. Schiff, I am fit to be FBI director based on my 16 years in government service.
And yet you did all these things, Mr. Patel. You can say, oh, I support law enforcement, I decry violence against law enforcement. You can say all that. It's what you did, Mr. Patel, that matters. It's what you did that matters. Well, let me ask you about something else.
Jeez, dude. So far, I like the guy. I don't know what the senator's talking about, if he actually went out and did a whole bunch of bad shit, but the whole like no bullshit mentality, I'm kind of digging. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, a little bit of eye bleach. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I want more of it. More of this on X, please. A little bit less politics, a little bit more of this. It's not nearly as fun to react to, but oh, I need some of that. Okay, so loud. Bernie Sanders on how he could afford 3 large homes. I sold lots of books against capitalism. Tell me this is a joke.
Now, how did I get the money? You're right. I wrote 2 best-selling books, including this book on capitalism.
Oh boy. I wrote books against capitalism and profited on them in a capitalist society to be able to afford 3 large homes. Isn't that kind of the definition of hypocrisy? Come on, Bernie. Come on, man. Let's let him finish.
It was New York Times bestseller for a while. And also another book was a youth book. And I make, I don't know, $175,000 a year. And that's more or less how I became the zillionaire that I am. Now,
the zillionaire. I have a hard time believing Bernie makes $175,000 a year. I think it's probably more than that. I'm not turning off my ad block. I saw something, top 1%. The terms 99% and the 1% refer to 2 different appendages. Yep. Person must earn at least $787,000 per year, and so in years when his book sales are brisk, Sanders falls among the 1%. So yeah, I think that he was kind of lying a little bit about that 175,000. Dude, I can't with these people. Dude, why is this clip blowing up? Why is this clip blowing up? This is not a good response on Trump. This is an L. Please tell me the people in the comments agree. Dude, Why is it on every single post? It's like I'll see something, I'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, totally agree, and I'll go in the comments and everybody's like, no, this is horrible. But then on the post where I'm like, no, this is horrible, everybody's like, oh, this is great. Either the X algorithm is against me or I am just apparently the outcast of society. Maybe it's both. I don't know, but here I am. President Obama, our hearts break for the families. Yeah, a little bit of a better way to phrase that. Okay. More cash. What a beautiful moment. Senator Kennedy and cash. Oh God. What is this?
If you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
Yeah.
My colleague and friend Senator Durbin called you a conspiracy theorist. You remember that?
I do, Senator.
You were instrumental in revealing that the Trump-Russia election collusion hoax was a hoax, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was a lead investigator.
Sounds to me like we need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Yeah, we saw this clip. I thought there was going to be a little bit more, but it's so based and it's so true. And Joe Rogan agrees. Get Kash Patel on the podcast, Joe. Okay, let's see what else we got. What is this? Either this is one of the victims from the Black Hawk helicopter or something else entirely. Jeez. It's so scary, dude. It's so scary, man. I cannot imagine, bro. You just hop on a plane, you think everything's gonna be fine, and then you hit a helicopter. Kind of probably like how this crab felt. Just out of nowhere. Jeez. Man, that scares the shit out of me. Okay. Let's change up the mood with some more Alex Jones. Democrat senators laugh when RFK Jr. tells them to their face that people don't like Obamacare or Medicare and billions of dollars spent on healthcare have not made Americans healthier.
What people, they would prefer to be on private insurance. Most Americans, if they can afford to be, will be on private insurance. We need to figure out ways to improve care, particularly for elderly, for veterans, for the poor in this country. And Medicaid, the current model is not doing that. I would ask, any of the Democrats who are chuckling just now, do you think all that money, the $900 billion that we're sending to Medicaid every year, has made Americans healthy? Do we think it's working for anybody?
A lot of people are still very unhealthy.
Are the premiums low enough?
People tend to agree. People tend to agree. As Cory Booker tries to launch into a performance outrage triad, he has to be handed a note from a staffer to get to the right question. Staffer hands him note, reads note. Sir, did you or did you not commit a crime? Hilarious. Let's see this.
In this, we are agreement, Senator. Get my grand jury testimony. I want it made public. I asked the Department of Justice to make it public, and they refused to do so.
There is no legal bound against you telling us right now what you testified to.
When I asked for my transcript to be released,
Sir, did you or did you not commit a crime?
Senator, I did not commit a crime.
Then why won't you tell us what you testified to?
Because it occurred over the course of 3 weeks. I don't have the ability to recall everything I testified to, but I'm asking you to put my transcript
Did you testify to
down.
witnessing the President of the United States declassifying documents?
Senator, what I testified to is best captured by that transcript
So
in real time.
you're not willing to tell Congress, after making many pledges today about transparency, whether or not you testified to witnessing the President of the United States declassify documents. In the name of all the values you have said today, did you or did you not testify to witnessing the President of the United States declassify documents?
I testified accordingly and under oath, and I encourage you to get that transcript.
And by the law of our land, you are free to tell people, what are you hiding from Congress? Answer the—
I don't think he's hiding anything from Congress. He says, if you want to know what I testified to, there is a transcript of everything I testified to over the course of 3 weeks. I encourage you to just read it and you'll have the answer to your question. I don't see why this guy is getting so worked up.
Question: did you testify to witnessing the President of the United States declassifying documents, yes or no?
Senator, the grand jury testimony is available to you. I encourage you to make it public.
As you likely know, the second volume of Jack Smith's report about the classified document case is not public yet. To fulfill our constitutional duty of advising—
Dude, this is the shit that just irks me, man. It's like, you're getting so worked up and so emotional, and this dude's just like, you want the info, it's in the transcript, just read the fucking transcript. Common sense, man. Common sense. Jeez. Okay. What else do we have? Former president of Kenya mocks countries who are upset Trump said he won't give blanket checks out to foreign governments. Why are you crying? It's not your government. He has no reason to give you anything. You don't pay taxes in America. Based as fuck. Let's see what he has to say.
People the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country.
Everybody loves him.
He has no reason to give you anything. I mean,
this guy's—
you don't pay taxes in America.
This guy's based as fuck. This guy's based as fuck. Make this guy Secretary of Defense or something, dude. It's like, it's common sense shit like this that people love, because it's like, we're so tired of the political bullshit of like the right answer, the wrong answer. You're supposed to get worked up over this. You're supposed to not get worked up over that. You draw people's attention to these things so that they don't look at these things. But when somebody just outright says the truth, and someone just says what's blatantly obvious, it's like, it's such a breath of fresh air. Jesus. Kind of like taking a sip of this ice cold Sprite Zero. Not a sponsor. Okay. Let's see. The math ain't mathin'. Come on, Kennedy, hit us with a math lesson.
By the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too.
True.
Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no,
and protecting their—
We saw this clip. Bernie gets so upset, and okay, look at the pigment of his face here, right? We're not gonna watch the clip again, but I'm gonna skip ahead and just watch how his face changes color. Never mind. We look fine. It looks so much redder as he was talking in the previous clip. It could have been different lighting, but yeah, he gets very upset at this claim and just yells at him. It's funny though, man. Joe Rogan agrees. The math ain't mathin', Bernie. What are you, anti-capitalist? How do you make your money? By selling books on anti-capitalism and profiting in capitalist America? Come on, dude. Do better. Kash Patel tells senators he's unquietly, I don't know that word, qualified to lead the FBI because he had the full weight of the government come down on him, and he will not subject that type of treatment on American citizens. I'm liking this Kash guy more and more.
Senator, this may be one of the scenarios that most uniquely qualifies me to take command at the FBI. Having been the victim of government overreach and a weaponized system of justice and law enforcement, I know what it—
I'm seeing a trend here. In a lot of Trump's picks, there's this idea of government overreach and weaponizing of agencies to go after these people. I feel like that's sort of the message that he's sending. He's like, they're not coming after what? How do I phrase this? What they're doing to me, they're doing to you. and I will stand in their way, is basically the message that he's given. And I like it.
Feels like to have the full weight of the United States government barreling down on you. And as the Biden Inspector General determined, those activities by the FBI and DOJ were wholly improper and not predicated upon law and facts. I will ensure, if confirmed, that no American is subjected to that kind of torment, to that kind of cost, financially and personally. And most importantly, I will make sure that no American is subjected to death threats like I was, and subjected to moving their residences like I was, because of government overreach, because of leaks of information about my personal status. If confirmed as FBI director, Mr. Chairman, you have my commitment that no one in this country will feel that pain.
Great. Fantastic. Yeah, people don't want to have the idea in their head that their government can just come after them and weaponize their systems against them for effectively no reason, just because they don't like you, because they've made you public enemy number one. You go against their special interests. And I think that's what Trump does well, is he says, they're not coming for me, they're coming for you, and I'm just standing in their way. And that is such a powerful message that resonates with people. Whether you agree with it or not, 77 something million people voted for him because that's how they feel. And it's like, dude, it's compelling as hell.
Senator.
Let's see what else. What's happening in Sweden and the UK should be a major warning to Ireland. What the hell's going on here? Oh, it's the big, yeah, there's a lot of like Muslim marches, I think, going on all over the place in the UK. I don't know really much about this. I haven't really looked into it, but I've seen a lot of this stuff happening, and I don't really know what to make of it. Okay, we got Hegseth in the press briefing. Let's see, on the aviation disaster.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Again, I want to echo what the Transportation Secretary said about your leadership. From the moment we found out about this, we were in contact with the White House trying to determine exactly what happened. I would echo it as well. No excuses. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We first and foremost, from the Defense Department, want to pass our condolences to the 64 souls and their families that were affected by this. Never should happen. And certainly the 3 service members, the 3 soldiers, a young captain, staff sergeant, and a CW2, chief warrant officer, on a routine annual retraining of night flights on a standard corridor for a continuity of government mission. The military does dangerous things. It does routine things on the regular basis. Tragically, last night, a mistake was made. I think the president is right. There was some sort of an elevation issue that we have immediately begun investigating at the DOD and Army level.
Some sort of an elevation issue. I mean, we saw the clip, right? It was literally 30 seconds of a helicopter and a plane, both with their lights on, heading straight towards each other. Clearly, yeah, an elevation issue, but there's some, like, what the hell happened? This is what I want to know.
CID is on the ground investigating. Top-tier aviation assets inside the DOD are investigating, sir, to get to the bottom of it so that it does not happen again, because it's absolutely unacceptable. But I want to echo what the Transportation Secretary and you, Mr. President, said, because it pertains to the DOD as well. We will have the best and brightest in every position possible. As you said in your inaugural, it is colorblind and merit-based. The best leaders possible, whether it's flying Black Hawks and flying airplanes, leading platoons, or in government. The era of DEI is gone at the Defense Department, and we need the best and brightest, whether it's in our air traffic control or whether it's in our generals.
Is this really what they're going with? They're going with that it was DEI? I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow, man. Speaking as someone who knows nothing about what the hell happened, I find it very hard to believe that something like that is purely a DEI problem. This is upsetting to me.
Whether it's throughout government. So thank you for your leadership and courage on that, sir, and we'll stand by you on it. Thank you.
RFK Jr. with the absolute checkmate. Also, Brooks, I will be voting against your nomination. Your views are dangerous to our country. RFK Jr. You think science is dangerous? This is a published peer-reviewed study. Also, Brooks, I yield. Jesus, let's see.
You were on a show on February 26, 2021, an interview with Dr. Judy Mikovits, where you said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving Black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that Blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received? What different vaccine schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that Blacks need fewer antigens than...
This is so dangerous.
So you get the same measles vaccine.
Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous.
She just wants her clip.
Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
I mean, do you think science is dangerous, Senator? This is published peer-reviewed studies.
I yield.
Jeez, dude. I just did a quick Google search on this because I have no idea if what RFK is saying here is actually accurate. But it says some studies have found that Black people have stronger immune responses to infection than white people, but this is not always the case. However, a strong immune response can also increase the risk of certain health conditions, which makes sense, right? So assuming that what he's saying is true, it's like, yeah, she just wanted a clip. She wanted to get a gotcha moment, and clearly she didn't get that. RFK, I don't think is the bigot that she was making him out to be. I think he was just saying, no, there are these studies out of Poland that I looked at, and that's what I meant when I said that. It's so, I mean, yeah, it's these people just want to slander him like crazy and just make him look like an asshole. But in reality, he's just a dude that reads shit that is controversial, and science should not be controversial. This is all this to say, of course, that I can't go and read all of those Polish studies. I don't know if they're accurate. I don't know if they're valid, but this is all predicated on the assumption that those are accurate studies, right? So big assumption to make, but given that that's the case, I don't think RFK is in the wrong here for saying this.
You were on.
What is this? You know what I want to do? I want to react to what the hell is going on over here, which is the White House press briefing. Let's see. What's going on here?
That White House.
This is a 46-minute video. Here we go.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
Dude, it is so wild to me that I put on my tinfoil hat over these drones. Don't get me wrong. I had conspiracy after conspiracy. I thought they were aliens. I thought they were like, gravity technology or whatever. It's insane. But the thing is, it's like if these are FAA approved, then we would have known about this forever ago. Why were we not told? What is the benefit of not telling the people? Is it just to distract them from something else that's going on that you don't want to show them? I have no fucking idea. But it baffles me that Trump's like, yeah, let's find out what's going on with the drones, and then they find out, they're like, oh, they were approved. What the biggest I would say letdown in history. I mean, it's relieving. Don't get me wrong, but like, I wanted it to be aliens so bad, dude. That's all I wanted.
A statement.
Okay. I can't. This is such a Trump L, in my opinion, is his response on this aviation disaster, dude. I have not been pleased with that. I do want to see, however, here we go. This is the content I want to see.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we? Good to see all of you. It's an honor to be here with all of you. A lot of familiar faces in the room, a lot of new faces. And President Trump is back, and the golden age of America has most definitely begun. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration.
Oh yeah.
We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room.
Dude, so based. I want to get like people who aren't just mainstream journalists in this room. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but the point is, like, people don't watch the news anymore. Like, most people will listen to podcasts, or they'll go on X, or they'll just find it online. So it's like there are people who are generally covering news, genuinely covering news, that are not reporters. And like, these people, I think, deserve just as much a seat in this briefing room than anybody else, right? If people are watching you, if people are tuning in to get the news from somebody, it doesn't matter if they're not a reporter. It's like, don't you at the very least want to ensure that they have the accurate information and they can ask the right questions? It's like such a W to get more people in here. I don't know what those people entail. I don't know if they will get like people who aren't standard reporters, but I would love to see that, man.
We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House. And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study,
we saw this part.
The drones that were flying over New Jersey.
Legal immigration.
The enemy. Peter.
Very quickly, just following up on the question on immigration first. President Trump, during the course of the campaign in 2024, said the following about illegal immigration. He said, they're going back home where they belong, and we start with the criminals. There are many, many criminals. NBC News has learned that ICE arrested 1,179 undocumented immigrants on Sunday, but nearly half of them.
On Sunday alone, 1,100? Man, I have been behind on the ICE stats.
166 of the migrants appear to have no prior criminal record besides entering the country illegally.
Which, for the record, is still a crime. If you enter the country illegally, that is a crime. You have committed a crime. And it's baffling to me that people don't, like, refuse to say that. So, anyways.
President still focused exclusively, which is a civil crime, it's not criminal.
It's a federal crime.
So I'm asking.
There you go.
Though he said he was going to focus on those violent offenders first. So is violent offenders no longer the predicate for these people to be deported?
The president has said countless times on the campaign trail, I've been with him at the rallies, I know you've been there covering them too, Peter, that he is focused on launching the largest mass deportation operation in American history of illegal criminals. And if you are an individual, a foreign national, who illegally enters the United States of America, you are, by definition, a criminal. And so therefore you are subject to deportation.
I apologize for interrupting. So to be clear, it's not violent criminals do not receive precedence in terms of the deportations taking place.
The president has also said two things can be true at the same time. We want to deport.
Yes, this is true. But if they make a statement that says, we are going to assign first priority to the ones that have committed violent crime, but then you're also deporting people that haven't committed violent crime in this first phase, then they are kind of contradictory. So I get what the reporter's saying, but what I'm assuming that they're doing is, yes, we're putting the most of our efforts into those that have committed violent crime, but also it's like we're not just going to not deport people because they didn't commit violent crimes. Like, if they're here illegally, we're still going to do our job. So
illegal criminals, illegal immigrants from this country, but the president has said that, of course, the illegal criminal drug dealers, the rapists, the murderers, the individuals who have committed heinous acts on the interior of our country and who have terrorized law-abiding American citizens, absolutely, those should be the priority of ICE, but that doesn't mean that the other illegal criminals who entered our nation's borders are off the table.
Yep, which is exactly what I said, right? Perfect response.
Caroline, on immigration. Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
Correct answer, all of them, right? Did you hear what she said at the end there? How many of these people have a criminal record aside from the people who entered into this country illegally? Key word there, illegal. That would entail criminal record. Let's see how she responds.
All of them, because they illegally
I love her. I love her. Put her up for president of the world.
broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are. Christian
Dude, she's so good. She's so good. I love her.
Thanks, Caroline. Just real quick, you mentioned the inflation executive order the president signed, but egg prices have skyrocketed since President Trump took office. So what?
Took office what, like a little under 3 weeks ago? What, you expect prices to drop like in the first couple days? I mean, I don't think that's how that works.
What specifically is he doing to lower those costs for Americans?
Really glad you brought this up, because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure.
Holy shit. Oh my God, I love her so much.
Egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country. Therefore,
there's a chicken killing epidemic happening that is preventing us from purchasing chicken. Excuse me? Where I need my sources to put out some feelers on this.
Lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage. So I will leave you with this point. This is an example of why it's so incredibly important that the Senate moves swiftly to confirm all of President Trump's nominees, including his nominee for the United States Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who is already speaking with Kevin Hassett, who's leading the economic team here at the White House, on how we can address the egg shortage in this country. As for costs, I laid out the plethora of ways that President Trump has addressed saving costs for the American people over the past week. He looks forward to continuing doing that in the days ahead. Thank you guys.
Oh my God, dude, they're attacking her, man. Yeah, I love her. She's incredible. She's incredible. There's not much more to say about that.
But speaking of Donald Trump,
Good afternoon, everybody.
I need more. Give me more. What is this?
Peter Alexander, reporter from NBC News, crying and bitching about criminal alien deportations. Didn't go well for him.
The criminals, there are many, many criminals. NBC News has learned that ICE arrested 1,179 undocumented immigrants on Sunday, but nearly half of them, 566 of the migrants, appear to have no prior...
Dude, Benny, we already covered this, man. Dude, I'm ahead of Benny. Okay, maybe not. This was 2 days ago. I was gonna say I'm ahead of Benny Johnson, but okay. Let's see what else she has to say.
That rely on federal funding, make payroll, pay their rent in the meantime.
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door. Again, not for individual assistance, but for all of these other programs that I mentioned. I also spoke with the incoming director of OMB this morning, and he told me to tell all of you that the line to his office is open for other federal government agencies across the board.
So far, so
moving
good.
forward, not only to engage in economic diplomacy with these countries, but also world peace.
Absolutely. I'll echo the answer that the president gave on Air Force One last night when he was asked a very similar question by one of your colleagues in the media. This signifies peace through strength is back. And this president will not tolerate illegal immigration into America's interior. And he expects every nation on this planet, again, to cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens who illegally entered into our country and
It's so wild to me that this is so controversial, because here's the thing, man. This was like every single rally that Trump did, every single campaign event that he hit, doesn't matter if some crazy breaking shit happened in the news that day that he was talking about, or there was some kind of new part of his campaign that he was launching. Every single time he basically said the exact same shit. He's like, we're going to defend the border. We're going to fix this immigration crisis. He basically said it over and over again. They're dumping all these people in here. And it's like, now he's doing that stuff and people are like, I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. It's like, dude, he's been running on this for the last year and a half. It's like, why are you so surprised?
Broke America's laws won't be tolerated. And as you saw, the Colombian government quickly folded and agreed to all of President.
That was true. We covered that, dude. When the Colombian government said we're not going to take these planes full of people over, like we're not gonna basically allow you to dump these people back on us. Trump was like, okay, we're taking this, we're doing this, we're adding tariffs, we're doing this, and like 12 hours later, he was like, okay, you can send them over. It works.
President Trump's demands, flights are underway once again.
2 questions on deportations, if I may. President Trump had said on the campaign trail that he would deport pro-Hamas students who are here on visas. And on his first day in office, he signed an executive order that said, quote, the U.S. must ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the U.S. do not bear hostile attitudes towards its citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles. So should we take this executive order as Trump saying he would be open to deporting those students who are here on visas but, hold pro-Hamas sympathies?
Deporting students who have visas but have pro-Hamas sympathies. So they would be here legally, but they have pro-Hamas sympathies. Okay, let's see what she says.
The president is open to deporting individuals who have broken our nation's immigration laws. So if they are...
That's the right answer. I was afraid she was going to say yes, because although I vehemently disagree and despise Hamas, you can't deport people for like advocating on their behalf if they're here in the United States legally, because it's like we have freedom of speech. It's like you can say horrible crap and it's like it's your right to say it. Everybody in the world can disagree with you and you are allowed to say it. It's one of the things that makes America great, in my opinion, is that we don't have to worry about that stuff. So I'd be afraid if she was like, yeah, they're just gonna go.
Are here illegally, then certainly he is open to deporting them. And that's what this administration is hard at work at doing. We receive data from DHS and from ICE every single day. From what we hear on the ground, ICE agents are feeling incredibly empowered right now because they actually have a leader in this building who is supporting them in doing their jobs that they were hired to do, which is to detain, arrest, and deport illegal criminals who have invaded our nation's borders over the past 4 years. That's what the president is committed to seeing. Peter.
Very quickly, just following up on the question on immigration first. President Trump, during the course of the campaign in 2024, said the following about illegal immigration. He said, they're going back home where they belong, and we start with the criminals. There are many criminals.
Yeah, we saw this part. Let's go ahead a little bit.
You thinking about that?
Yeah.
Should those countries expect that?
Again, he was asked and answered this question this past weekend when he took a lot of questions from the press, and he said that the February 1st date for Canada and Mexico still holds.
What about the China 10% tariff that he also had used about last Tuesday going into effect on the same day?
Yep, the president has said that he is very much still considering that for February.
And this clip is a little bit old, but it happened. He said, I think today, 25% tariff on both Canada and Mexico. So that's happening.
February 1st.
Yesterday he talked also about sectoral tariffs on, for instance, pharmaceuticals as well as semiconductor computer chips. He talked about steel, aluminum, and copper. What's the timeline on those? Is that a similar sort of coming days thing?
Yeah, so when the president talked about that in his speech yesterday, that actually wasn't a new announcement. That was within a presidential memorandum that he signed in one of the first days here in the White House on his America First trade agenda. So there's more details on those tariffs in there. As far as a date, I don't have a specific date to read out to you, but the president is committed to implementing tariffs effectively, just like he did in his first term.
Finally, he also was asked on the plane when he gaggled about the potential for a universal tariff. He was asked maybe about 2.5%. There was a report about that. He said he wanted much bigger than that. Should we understand that these tariffs would add up You know, in other words, you might have country-specific tariffs like Canada, Mexico, China. You might have sectoral tariffs like on pharmaceuticals, as well as a potential universal tariff on top of that. Do we stack on one or the other, or would one sort of take precedence over another?
All I can point you to is what the president has said on this front. The February 1st date for Canada and Mexico, also the China tariff that he has discussed.
February 1st, so what? That's tomorrow? Let me pull up my calendar. No, 2 days. 2 days, we got tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Geez, I don't know what that's going to mean for us. But, and I don't remember why. Let's look it up. Why is Trump tariffing Canada and Mexico? May not include oil, though. Yeah, because I guess that would not be good on our gas prices. But why? What's with the tariffs? I know the Canada thing. Trump cited a number of reasons for doing so. Number one is that people have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that has come into our country. And number three are the massive subsidies we are giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. Yeah, the tariffs may or may not rise with time. So is his hope that he will help alleviate the immigration crisis from Mexico and also from Canada? I don't know if there's a big issue on the northern border, but I know primarily on the southern, that by instituting these tariffs that he can basically force these governments to put more protections on letting people out into here. I have no idea. But okay, sure. 2 days, and then they got to pay up.
Did the 2.5% tariff. He said that was a little bit too low. He wants it to be higher. I'll leave it to him to make any decisions on that front.
Hold up a second. We got 15 minutes left in the stream, and I'm seeing here that we have new executive orders. The dude just doesn't quit. What do we got?
Okay. Have a good angle.
I do, sir.
Thank you very much for seeing me twice today. It's going to be quite an important signing, so we thought we'd let you watch.
This was 2 hours ago, so this is brand new.
If we could, I'd ask Will to explain the first, but really more importantly, explain the second, and we'll start signing. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Just 2 items for your signature today. The first is the formal commission appointing Chris Rochelot to be the Deputy Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration.
Right.
And since the commissioner position since the administrator position is currently vacant, he will act as the administrator since he's now been appointed.
So the position is currently vacant? So if the position is currently vacant, I gotta assume that this is in response to that horrible crash, right? Because it can't look good. I know the headlines are already trying to blame Trump somehow for the crash, which is absurd that we're politicizing it. I mean, people died, not good. But yeah, this is clearly in response to that.
To deputy.
And he's a very capable guy.
Extremely experienced in aviation and highly regarded in the industry and in government.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Second, for your signature, we have a presidential memorandum titled Immediate Assessment of Aviation Safety. In light of the damage done to aviation safety by the Biden administration's DEI and woke policies, what this presidential memorandum orders is for your Secretary of Transportation and FAA Administrator, in this case acting FAA Administrator, to basically ensure that we are actively undoing all of that damage, that we are assessing how much damage was done, and that we're ensuring that people hired within the FAA, in keeping with your memorandum of January 21st, are only the most outstanding, capable people for the jobs that they are being hired into.
In other words, competence.
Yes, sir. Elevating competence over everything else instead of the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
There you go, boys.
I think everyone understands that.
Trump executive order. Instilling competence.
And Obama.
Didn't realize that you could just sign your name and make that happen.
Okay, but Biden much worse. Not even a contest. What they've done is just crazy in so many other ways.
There you go.
Okay.
There you have it.
To be clear, are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want
if my only assumption with that crash, because we saw the clip, they just literally drove right into each other. It was either something completely different, or it was straight up incompetence. I'd like to think it was incompetence, because anything else scares the hell out of me.
the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Mr. President,
There you have it. There you have it. Trump says if you do not have a great power of the brain, bad things will happen. Let's get that power of the brain in all of us, because I guess we all need it.
There have been concerns about the amount of congestion out of DC airport. Do you think that there's too many flights coming out of that airport?
No, I think we need very smart people running the flights and doing it. The ones that aren't good, when they'll either do one of two things. They'll have too many coming in and they can't handle it, or they'll have the people waiting up in the air, which everyone's been caught in that situation, and circling the airports for an hour, and that's no good either.
Mr. President, are you aware?
Military helicopter training flights that are flying around National Airport all the time, what's your view? Should they be rolled back?
It's fine if they're in the right locations and if they're not at the same levels. I mean, if a plane coming in is at 300 feet or 400 feet and a helicopter's training at 300 or 400 feet, why wouldn't they be up 500 feet higher?
That's what I'm saying.
So I certainly want, and that to a certain extent is the air traffic controller.
How does this happen?
I feel like what happened last night was preventable.
I do, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And obviously,
I saw the clip. It
that
looks
was
entirely
something that
preventable.
should not have happened. And we're not going to let it happen again. Yes, please.
Mr. President, on a slightly different subject, on your Canada and Mexico tariffs, will oil be included or excluded from those tariffs?
So we'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Jesus, man.
Part of that, though, because we get oil from Canada.
Oil is going to have nothing to do with it as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, oil has nothing to do with it. We saw it in the article, confirmed by him himself. So I guess that means that we're still going to have our shitty gas prices. They're not going to get worse.
It has nothing to do with it.
Mr. President, you said that confidence.
Guantanamo Bay, you want 30,000 new beds there. Is there a possibility that will increase, or is 30,000?
It could increase, yes.
What would be the maximum?
It depends, but countries that won't take back their criminals that they sent into us, they sent them to us. They put them into the caravans, and they came in. As sure as you're standing there, they were sent by those countries. Then they're going to be met very harshly with sanctions, etc.
And when are you hoping to have Guantanamo Bay, this new facility, up and running?
It'll be up pretty quickly.
How much do you think it's going to cost?
Not very much.
A new
a lot
Guantanamo
of the
Bay? Did I hear that
there,
right?
you know.
Mr. President, you said that incompetence may have played a role. Are you aware of any performance issues or disciplinary actions that were taken against anyone who was working the tower last night or flying the plane?
No, and I hope that's not the case.
Holy shit, boys. Trump directs Pentagon, DHS to prepare migrant housing at Guantanamo Bay. God damn. Okay. Yeah, we're in for a treat today, I guess.
In this case, but certainly over the years it's been the case, and it's the case with respect to close calls, and it's the case with respect to circling for hours on end. Planes circle a lot, and they circle because the people bringing them down, these people that have to be very, very smart, and it's not based on anything other than the brain. We need the smartest people. We need both psychologically smart and just brilliant, period. And we are going to have them in our in our control towers. We are going to have the most competent people in the country in our control towers, not people that are there for any other reason.
You said that you envision sending the 80-something thousand IRS agents hired under Biden to the border. What role do you see them playing?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I may do that, or I may use different people, but we're going to send more. We're going to give the Border Patrol some help.
Yeah, I think his point here is that all these people are hired. We don't need this many IRS agents. There was something having to do with them being like militarized or something. Let me look that up. Trump floats gutting the IRS, moving agents to the border. On day one, I immediately halted the hiring of any new IRS agents. They hired or tried to hire 88,000 new workers to go after you, and we're in the process of developing a plan to either terminate all of them or maybe we'll move them to the border. And I think we're going to move them to the border, Trump said during a rally. Jesus. Okay.
If you look, they've taken in the lowest number since my administration. The numbers are very low. And at that level, we don't need so much help. People know not to come because if they come, they're not going to make it in and they're going to be shipped out.
Egypt's president and the King of Jordan have both said that they won't take in displaced people from Gaza like you suggested. Is there anything you can do to make them do that? I mean, tariffs against those countries, for example?
They will do it. They will do it.
What makes you say that?
They're going to do it. Okay? We do a lot for them, and they're going to do it.
Mr. President, you've
It's that
offered
certainty,
over
dude.
2 million.
He's like, yeah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do what they're told. Jesus, man, the confidence on this guy is crazy. Arrogance, probably, but it comes across as badass. I'm not gonna lie. In this context, at the very least.
Federal workers the option to resign immediately.
Right.
There are 50,000 FAA employees. Does this tragedy give you reason to reconsider that option of resignations because of concerns about staffing issues on airline safety?
If people aren't coming to work, if they're not going to come into the office and report as per the date that you know what it is, everybody knows what the date is, it's been very well documented, then they're going to be terminated.
So you're not concerned though that if many people take that offer, there could be shortages that could lead to
Then they'll
safety
be
issues?
replaced with very competent people. We have a lot of competent people in this country.
Have you spoken to any of the families of the victims of the plane crash?
I don't want to comment on that.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site and meet with any of the
I
first
have a plan
responders?
to visit, not
We
the site.
saw this part of his clip.
Had any role, why bring it up?
Well, all I'm talking about is competence. And we want in that particular position, we have to have the most competent people in our country because we're talking about lives. Now, it may or may not have had to do, but I don't like the fact that the helicopter was at the exact same level as the airplane. The helicopter should have been 1,000 feet or 500 feet above it or something below it. The plane was at 300 to 400 feet. Or the plane should have been stopped because the helicopter could have stopped. The plane can't be stopped, but the plane was on a schedule that was, it was along a track. They call it a track.
Yeah.
And
We
it's
know
the
the flight
same
path.
track that every other plane's used for many years. It was going down and landing. And the helicopter got in its way.
Something's not right,
And
dude.
if the helicopter was higher or lower or stopped,
It would have been fine.
or turning left or turning right at a quicker time. I mean, it turned, but it turned when it
Yeah,
was
it's
too
not
late.
like it was this like quick spur of the moment, like, oh my gosh, we're about to crash, and they crashed. It was like 30 seconds of them just coming closer. It's chilling, dude.
A tragic story. So, I don't know, do you blame it on the air traffic controller too, in addition to the pilots? Maybe the pilot's fault, they should have seen it. I would have thought they should have seen it. Because it was a plane that was loaded up with lights and everybody, you can see it from Kennedy Center, you can see it very easily. So all I want is the most competent people in our country to be air traffic controllers. It's a very important position, and other positions too, by the way. We're not only talking about...
Yeah, dude, he's right. Like, you want competent people in office. You don't want to, it's this whole idea of DEI hiring, right? Trying to kind of gut that in his administration. He wants to have only the best and the brightest, a merit-based society, which I generally agree with. But like when it comes to this whole thing, like it's very hard to believe that crash had anything to do with DEI. I mean, that was, again, either incompetence, just complete and utter incompetence. Like not because, oh, you know, you weren't the most qualified person. It's like, no, like I probably could have been up there and seen what was happening and said, whoa, something's wrong, we got to stop it. And you had time to do it. Or it was some kind of just something else was going on that they're not telling us. And dude, it's freaky. Okay, so we had both Tulsi and Kash Patel today. We had talks on the White House press briefing. We covered the drones. We had we looked at some new Pete Hegseth Department of Defense stuff. We covered most of what's going on today, right? Like we did pretty good. I think we can do one last scroll on X and see if we're missing anything. We'll do a we'll go back to the top and we'll do a refresh here and see if we're missing any big news before we call it. Ants, maybe she was telling the truth. Okay, we covered that. I think we killed it today. Yeah? Dude, we killed it. We covered everything there is to cover. I think that is a good way to cap us off. Let's come back here and I just want to say that it's been a good first week of streaming. I've gotten to like it a lot. It's gonna continuously get better. I'm learning all sorts of new stuff every step of the way. And with the YouTube videos, I'm learning all kind of cool stuff on the editing, so that quality is getting better across the board. So it doesn't matter if we got no viewers for the first month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't care. I'm doing this because I like to do it. If you find yourself in chat, if you find yourself watching one of the YouTube live streams or one of the Twitch live streams, drop a comment. I'll answer any single question. I love to start a conversation. I'm really just doing this because partly I react to the shit on my own anyway, and two, I kind of want to build a community. Could be fun. Could be a good time. And on top of that, it's going to be a lot more than just the political stuff. I want to do some gaming. Want to do a little bit of like challenges, that kind of stuff. I've been kind of toying around with the idea of doing some horror games because I am a complete and utter pussy when it comes to horror. So I figured turn off the lights, play something that's going to scare the shit out of me, and record it for all of your guys' pleasure while I suffer through it. So that's my mentality anyway, and there's going to be a lot of cool changes coming up with the channel. I only expect the quality to get better and better, so stick around and let's see what we got. I'm starting up a Discord channel as well, so that'll be available shortly, and just need game requests, man. Again, I'm thinking about the horror game thing, but don't entirely know. What do we got here? Let's see. Sounds good. I'm here for it, bud. Nice meeting you. Cheers from across the pond, isn't it? It's nice meeting you too, my friend. Welcome to Have You Anytime. I'm going to be doing a lot more content. I'm streaming every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and there's also other streams throughout the week. So I hope to see you back in chat soon. We're going to be doing a lot more than just the React stuff, gaming and all that. So really appreciate it. And there'll be clips posted on YouTube after this. So feel free to check it out if you want to see what you missed. And I hope to see you back in chat. All right. Hope everybody has a good night, and we'll call it there. Peace.